Hello, church family. I hope you're doing well today. Um, Here recently, we've been having more people at worship in the sense of people are getting their second shots and they're feeling more comfortable to come back. And it's been really good to see people. It's been really good to see those older people become more comfortable to come to worship and to see them back. So if you're not back yet, I hope that you can come back in a way that you feel safe and you feel comfortable, and I look forward to seeing you again. This week is spring break, so if you're going on a trip for spring break or doing something, I hope that you stay safe. Or if you're just staying around here, I hope that you stay safe as well. We're going to go to Genesis this afternoon, whenever you're watching this, because you can watch this at whatever time you wanted to. So this afternoon, I'm recording this in the morning, but we're going to be in Genesis a little bit. Genesis chapter 1, and we're going to be looking at this thought of who God is and the attributes of God. When I think of God, the first thing we read about Him, the first thing that He does is that He creates. Genesis 1 and verse 1, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. So the first thing that God ever did was that He created. And we know on the first day He creates light, and I think about how light is our life source, and without light we couldn't do anything. And on the second day He creates the atmosphere and just the big open that we have. On the third day He made the dry ground, and He made the plants and the vegetation. On the fourth day He creates the sun and the moon and the stars and all of the things to go into the atmosphere. And then the day after that, the fifth day, He creates the birds and the sea animals. I can't imagine life without all of the birds and all of the things that live in water. The sixth day He created land animals. He created the dog that's sitting on the couch next to you, maybe, or is outside. And He created us on the sixth day. And on the seventh day, we know that He rested. So God is a creator. And when I think of someone being creative, I think of someone that's artsy, and the fact that they can draw something out of thin air or paint something out of thin air. But we have to know what we're painting, in the sense of, if I tell someone to paint a chair, they have in their mind what a chair is because they've seen it before, because they've sat in a chair. But God didn't have any template to go by. He didn't have any examples. He created trees the way He wanted to, and He created animals the way He wanted to, and vegetation. And think about how many different trees and flowers there are. He created that. He wasn't going off of someone's example. He literally created that. In Colossians chapter 1 and verse 16, it says, "For by Him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, or rulers or authorities. All things were created through Him and for Him." Hebrews chapter 11, verse 3 says, "By faith we understand that the universe was created by the Word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible." He made things out of nothing. So God is a creator. He is creative in the things that he makes. So in us being His children, and us being made in the image of God and the likeness of God, we are also creators ourselves. Now, we're not creating trees or creating things like that. And you might say, Joshua, I'm not creative. I can't. I can draw stick figures. I can't draw a beautiful painting, or I can't think of something out of thin air like that, and I can't put it on a canvas. So how am I supposed to create? How am I supposed to be creative? For the answer to that, go with me to John chapter 4. John chapter 4. We're going to be starting in verse 7. John chapter 4, starting in verse 7. A woman from Samaria came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink," for his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria?" For the Jews had no dealings with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God, and who it is that is saying it to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw water with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us the well, and drank from it himself, as did his sons and his livestock." And Jesus said to her, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water, welling up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water, so that I will not be thirsty or have to come here to draw water." And you say, "All right, Joshua, I don't see Jesus being creative here. I don't see him drawing a picture or coming up with something new." However, the one thing that Jesus did create, and something that we all have the power to create, whether we're artsy or creative or not, is that he created a conversation with this woman. He was here at this well, and he saw this woman, a woman by herself, and he asked her for water. And he knew that that was taboo. Jewish men did not talk to Samaritan women, but yet he asked her. And then from that, she's thrown off, and he knew she would be. And from that, he creates a conversation with her. And in the end, she finds out that he's Jesus Christ, and that he's the Messiah, and that he has come to save her, to make her whole, to give her living water. And I think about us in our daily lives, and I think about how there are so many people that I come in contact with, and that you come in contact with, whether it's going to the gym, or whether it's playing golf with people, or at work. People that you see on a daily basis that know who you are, that they know you're a Christian, but yet maybe you haven't created that conversation with them about Jesus, about who he is, and about what he can offer, and how he can save whoever this person is. And I think sometimes as Christians, we get this idea of, number one, well, if we can just hold on to what we have as the church, if we can just hold on to who we have and what we've got going on, we'll be all right. Jesus nor the apostles never taught, as long as you can hold on to what you have, you're all right. The apostles, Paul talks about how we should love each other as Christians, and how we should bear one another's burdens, and how we should give to each other. But Paul also says you should go out and you should bring people to Jesus. he spent his whole life doing that, going around and meeting new people and creating conversations with people that ultimately brought them to Jesus Christ. And I think sometimes as Christians, we get this idea of just holding on to what we've got instead of going out and bringing new people to Christ. Also, in the sense we have this idea that, well, I'm living a godly example for them, which is very important. It is very important for them to see Jesus in our actions and what we do. But when we get to judgment, and we all have people in our lives that are not Christians, and they don't know Jesus, and they don't live for Jesus, and we see them all the time. And I would hate at judgment for me to say, well, you saw me living a godly life. You know, I tried to live a godly life around you all the time. And for them to say, yeah, but you never told me. We never had a conversation about it. I would hate to have a feeling like that I'd wasted an opportunity to have a conversation with someone about Jesus. So, as God's people, we're all creators. Maybe we're not creative in the way of drawing a picture or painting something, but we should be creating situations and creating conversations that bring people to Jesus. That, yes, we live a godly example and that we show them who Jesus is through our actions, but if we never have that conversation with them, it's all for nothing. So my challenge for you this week, we all have someone that we know that we come in contact with on a daily or weekly basis that we haven't had that conversation with. And sometimes it's hard. We get so close with people who aren't Christians that sometimes I'm afraid that if I bring up Jesus and ultimately point out the fact that they don't know him and the consequences of that, I become afraid of what it will do to my friendship with that person. I'm afraid that it will damage it. But if we love those people, if we really love those people, we'll be creating those conversations with them. So my challenge for you this week is to think of one person. Just one person. And I want you to create a conversation with them. I want you to be creative. And I plan on doing the same myself. So, whoever that is, make an effort to create a conversation with them so you can tell them of who Jesus is and maybe even where they are spiritually. So I thank you for listening today, and I'm thankful that you put God first. And I'm thankful that someone had a conversation with me, and that hopefully, if you're a Christian, someone had a conversation with you one day to bring you to Jesus Christ and to bring me to Jesus Christ. And it's my prayer that we do the same. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great day.